Hello. So, I really want to talk about the basics, um, the basics of how human society is organized, because I really I see that most of the people just simply don't understand, what the hell is going on, and they just put the head into the sand and you know pursue their own little or big goals, not really minding what's happening with life outside of them. However, if you do that and keep doing it, there will be consequences. In fact, there already are consequences. And I think it's time for us to stop doing that, stop acting like irresponsible little children, and just grow up as an adult and become aware of what the hell is going on in the world. A little bit besides also of your narrow field of attention. So what I mean? So I want to talk about how modern society is organized in a very simple, basic terms. Because if there's too many, um, there's a lot of variables, and if you try to explain them all, you lose the point. So 2021, we have a situation, that we all know about it. And but I want to take you a little bit like back into the past, because this year, it didn't just happen. There were things that had to happen. Excuse me. There are things that had to happen in order to lead to the life that we have now. So for instance, in the past, we used to kill each other properly. Even without any um, remorse, regret, even. If you put like even, I mean, look at the Second World War, what happened. The first one, or the wars before, or how we lived before. So because what happened, we learned better. We can argue with that. In some way, we just modified the way we live. But in essence, you cannot just go now today kill somebody without consequences. That's in Africa, I suppose, or some third world countries. But you know what I mean. There has been some progression. So that's why I'm just want to stress the relevance of the past, and what we've done. You learn certain things, or we haven't, and then we progress now to the future, to the now that we have a situation. So I want to say, if you look at not just a few hundred years ago, but let's say a few thousand years ago, and there's a point to it. I just wanted to communicate. Um, so anyway, if you go a few thousands of years ago, let's say even like five, up to 10, or whatever the number. Um, if you look at it, how people start to organize themselves. Before there was just one person, two people create a child, and there's like another family, and they start to create communities. So these communities naturally decided, this person is a very good leader because he can see things, he takes care of people, he seems to have good recommendations, and he seems to know what he's talking about. And every time we listen to him, there is some sort of benefit. So the community naturally starts to pick people, or for who they are as their role, to serve this community, because they see this one is a good hunter, this one is a good leader, this one is a good cook, and so on. So there becomes this natural order where people agree quite directly. Oh, this person will be for this person will be for that, and so on. And if you look at the how this community functions, it's first of all it's like how to say, it's organized in their narrow environment, and then when they come to another group, if they were friendly, they would enlarge the group, or if they wouldn't be, they would battle and kill each other, I suppose, get the resources. Because before it was about how to say, managing the resources in a very basic form, like food, you know. So anyway, you know, if you look at this organized community, and we start expanding, to larger and larger communities, there becomes more needs how to organize this community. And if you go into the future, we see we keep adding, more or organized unities, institutions to manage the society. However, as we're getting bigger and expanding, what happens is that the interest of the people in charge that are leading other people becomes a bit disconnected with the normal everyday person, and becomes a bit distance. And besides that, what we also get is that the people in charge start to see, okay, I have power, I get to listen, I get to be listened, so I can do certain things. So a lot of these individuals, groups, families, they start to get, simply put, a bit distracted with this power agenda. Because you can make yourself and people around you even more powerful. You can provide yourself for the future generations, for your kids, and which there are good aspects of it, but there's also the greed aspect of it, which starts to spread too much, and the power and the crave for power becomes too great in order to even like perceive the poor little schmuck there at the bottom of pyramid, that you are basically, if you listen to the story from the beginning, you are supposed to serve these people. You are as a leader, you are granted this role because you are more capable and because people trusted you that you're gonna do the what's in their best interest. However, this best interest for the smaller people becomes self-interest, and what happens is it comes to the abuse of this power. So fast forward to today's society, you see that there are companies that their main agenda is profit. No matter how they sell it, also sustainability, we are here to serve you. Yeah, but why are they here to serve you? They want to offer you things, products and services, in order to you buy them, so they survive and thrive and make a lot of money for their narrow interest. So I'm not saying all the companies they have just profit focus, but let's face it, it's capitalism. Majority, the main, you will not work, you will not do a business if you're not making profit. And even if you're short term not making profit, today there's a lot of sideways or postponing the profit and then taking saying having low prices, below the costs, and you're losing money for a few years to get the people, and then you're making money. So again, the profit is the main focus. So imagine if company that serves their main focus to making profit comes into with the interest of the individual, who do you think they're gonna pick? Their whole existence is to make profit. So they have to say like profit, individual, they will always go in the side of a profit, and more and more. Of course, they have to offer something, otherwise the people will not provide this profit. Nevertheless, the companies focus on the profit. Then you have governments that govern society based on the taxes that they collect from individuals. So every time you say like, oh, now you have free vaccine, of course, I mean, just look a little, I mean, I hope it's obvious, it's not free, you're just not paying it directly, you're paying it indirectly through taxes, and these taxes, they, before they did not exist, or they existed in a smaller level. Now the apparatus of government is getting bigger and bigger and bigger, more and more and more taxes. And the system that has been set up is even used to make a smaller individual less powerful, through different mechanisms, like central banking system and inflation. I don't want to go too much into that, but there are ways how to basically get a bigger and bigger government that is more and more disconnected with the individual that it serves, because they get paid through taxes. So taxes are not just some necessary evil that is there for you to annoy you. You know, you pay the government to work for you. Okay, so as I said, with the companies, how they abuse their privilege and their power, there are also governments who make it easy or more difficult for certain companies or all the companies to do business with. So if certain companies will, finance the party, the, the, the individuals in charge, which they will, that's how it works, they will try to do certain favors for them. So again, where is there a place for a smaller individual? You know, just enough for you to survive. You ever noticed? Most of the people make like small amounts of money. You know, they don't have any personal power in finances, in health, or in relationships. So they just, go about the daily distractions, some entertainment, to keep themselves busy and tell themselves that there's life, while they forget about the bigger things that corporations and governments are leading, on your expense. So anyway, this I just wanted to communicate just some basic things so you understand how these organizations, these institutions, might not be there doing their job really well. So well, what can I do? That they're there. Well, you have certain powers that you can do. You can, when you organize with individuals who think differently than what today's leaders are suggesting, you can start to give pushbacks. When you don't follow their corporate media that communicates just their self-interest. I mean, look at the vaccine. I mean, you get a donut. I mean, for crying out loud, and you get if you take a vaccine, or you get a Uber ride in America, or you get hamburger, or you get a prize for lottery. A way to enter a lottery for $1 million, or now I'm in Czech Republic for iPhone 12. I mean, just please, people, just think a little bit, that there is something off, and when they give you the narrative, they give you the narrative that is their narrative. They're trying to convince you because of, again, not your interest, their interest. So unless people will start to question people in charge, the consequences are going to be worse and worse. And they're already starting to, they're already starting to get worse. You have to you are being limited with your freedoms if you don't take the vaccines. You cannot travel, you cannot go to other countries, you cannot even go to a restaurant or something. Now they're changing to the summer, but just wait till the winter. Again, you cannot do normal things that you're allowed to do in this society. You cannot do unless you do what they say. And where do you think this is going? And I'm not even going to go into the experimentality of these vaccines and different agendas that quite possibly are going around that. But just the basic facts. So know what is going on. The picture is even bigger, but just a little bit of essence to understand that the things are not coincidental. You do matter and you influence things, even if you're small. You just have to organize and say no. When the government says something, you say no. In the Second World War, they legitimize the genocide of Jews, to different ways that you're not even aware about, for bureaucracy, a little bit of ideology, a little bit of money, and they managed to legitimize genocides of Jews. I'm surely you understand that that this is abuse of power and this is not supposed to happen, but it happens gradually, incrementally. So people don't tense up. Like a slow cooking frog. After you cook her from the cold temperature to the warm, it won't even notice, and it will get too hot, it will die. So that's kind of where we're going to. So please just think a little bit. Become aware, grow up. Because otherwise the consequences, they're not going to get better. They're going to get worse. And it's time to put a stop to this madness. This abuse of power and this pursuit of greed. And seeing your fellow humans as separate or somebody you can take advantage of. So just grow up. And start making some good choices. Anyway, ciao.